please correct me if I'm wrong, because there's a good chance I am. But I, right now in this moment, believe this. It's safe to say that all Mexicans and all Black Americans are biracial. That's the point that you are here to disprove. Prove me wrong. Right now, as I'm filming this, I believe that all Mexicans and all Black Americans are biracial, just by default. For me, it's very obvious because I've made multiple videos where I've asked African American, Black Americans, share your DNA test results. How African are you? Because I want to know. And I speculated that most Black Americans would be between 2/3 and 3/4 African. And pretty much everyone falls into that range that's left a comment. Now also by default, we know that people, and I'm not talking about the nationality Mexican, I'm talking about the ethnic mix of what makes a Mexican. A Mexican like my first generation Mexican American grandma, that predictable mix of whatever we want to call it, Mayan, Aztec, the original people that discovered America before the Europeans did, that group of people, and then the other people that discovered America, Spanish descent, European descent, came together, Mexicans, biracial, two different ethnic backgrounds for hundreds of years that have been mixing. There you go. And then African Americans. I've yet to have anyone who is a Black American say, I'm 100% African. I'm 92%. I'm 80%. Maybe one person said that they were 80%. But even then, I speculate that one of the parents came directly from Africa and that person was a first generation American. That's what I would speculate. Here's why I'm bringing this up. Because it's interesting, because if I believe that Mexicans and Black Americans are biracial by default, Black Americans being mostly African DNA, but still a decent amount European, and Mexicans probably being a little bit more Native American via Mexico, Mayan, Aztec, etc., and then maybe a little bit less on the European side, but either way, that's the predictable mix. And even on MyHeritage, you can go to maps and it'll show the breakdown of certain countries. It's a little bit trickier though with Black Americans because we can't quite do that. That's why I've made videos to learn and explore that concept. Okay, here's why I'm bringing this up. If by default, in theory, pretty much all Black Americans, assuming that you're not a first generation American, assuming that all Black Americans and all Mexican Americans especially are biracial, then how do we really sort that out then when someone who is African American, Black American, marries someone who's white and has a child? If you're already biracial to begin with, then isn't that being redundant to say that the child is biracial? Same thing with a Mexican American. I mean, same thing when my Italian grandfather married my first generation Mexican American grandmother. That was a biracial marriage, and their children, my mom being one of the biracial in theory. But it's like, well, Nick, that's not the same. Exactly, that's my point, is that Mexican Americans are already mixed. Black Americans are already mixed. So their children are not biracial simply because they married someone from a different ethnicity. They're just continuing to be biracial. So here's your opportunity to tell me that I'm wrong and to explain to me how I'm wrong. Because to me, if you're already biracial, it doesn't matter who you marry and have children with. By default, your child is going to be biracial in the same way that you are. Maybe to a lesser extent in some ways. But remember, what's my catchphrase? Say it with me. I am ignorant, but I am open-minded. Teach me what I need to know in the comments.